Hello my dear students, I am Ms. Rukan Alwala and today we are going to study about sorting materials into groups, which is our fourth chapter in science subject. Before moving to materials, we will first of all see what a matter is. So, anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. For example, a book is lying on the table. The book is having some mass, that is weight. Also, it is occupying some space on the table right now. So, here the book can be classified as the matter. But these matters, they are present around us. Also, they are used for making different kind of objects, which can be known as materials. So, matter is used for making different kind of objects known as materials. You may be wondering what these two pictures here are depicting. And you may be also thinking that these are similar because there are cutleries present in both the pictures. But there is a difference. Let me tell you the difference. In the first picture, as you can see, there are different shape and size of the cutlery, but they are made from the same material, that is silver. Whereas in the second picture, as you can see, there are only spoons but made up of different materials, that is wood, metal, rubber or plastic. So first picture is a group of cutleries made from the same material, whereas second picture is a group of spoons made of different materials. So this is the difference between the first and the second picture. We will take another example. Here there are two pictures of table given. These both are made of wood. So if we want to categorize this table, we'll give them a name as a group of wooden tables. In a wooden table, table is an object, whereas wooden is the material. These both are the object, but the material here are common, that is wood. Now, materials are also categorized with the help of the properties of them. There are 5 properties present of materials. They are appearance, hardness, solubility, density, and transparency. We'll study one by one. First of all, appearance. So, it can be classified in two ways. First is lustrous, second non-lustrous. What do you mean by lustrous? The materials which have a shiny surface, they are known as lustrous, whereas the materials which do not have luster or shininess or have a dull surface, they are known as non-lustrous. Example for lustrous are mostly metals, which are iron, gold, copper, and the non-lustrous examples can be wood, paper, and cardboard. Have you seen the surface of wood, paper, and cardboard? They are smooth, but they are dull. You cannot see shiny surface here, whereas in metals, you can see shiny surface. Here are some pictures for the lustrous and non-lustrous objects. Here you can see there is a gold bar which is shiny. Also a ring made of metal which is shiny. Whereas here is chalk which is having a smooth surface but is not shiny. It is dull. Also the same with wood which is dull and not shiny. So this is the difference between lustrous and non-lustrous. The second one is hardness. Hardness is also defined into two parts. They are hard and soft. The materials which are hard to compress or difficult to compress, you cannot push them and make different objects out of it. So those are the hard materials. For example, iron or wood. You have to break them with hammer or you have to shape them with hammer. Whereas the soft materials are which can be compressed or scratched easily. You can tear them, you can compress them easily. For example, cotton and sponge. Here you can see the metal, they are having very hard material. So they cannot be compressed. The same with the wood. They cannot be pressed or compressed. But When we talk about the soft materials, there is sponge and cotton which can be pressed or compressed easily, and they are very soft to touch also. Next, we talk about solubility. Now, what is solubility? First of all, we'll see the first definition, that is soluble. When some substances we start to dissolve them in water, we add them in water, they start to dissolve or disappear. Any substance, when we mix it with water and they start to say that those substances are soluble. For example, sugar or salt. Have you ever tried mixing sugar or salt in a glass of water? After mixing for some time, you can see that the sugar and salt, they have dissolved in the water. What is insoluble then? The substances, when mixed with water, they do not disappear, not even if we store it for a long time. For example, sand and sawdust. Whenever you mix sand and water, you can see that they are mixing, but it does not dissolve or disappear. See, here is a picture. In the first picture, you can see that we are adding some sugar to the water, but after some mixing, this sugar will disappear. Whereas in the second picture, you can see we have added some sand, but it does not dissolve or disappear in the water. So this is the difference between soluble and insoluble. Another property of material is density. It can be classified in two ways, that is floating objects and sinking objects. The objects which, when mixed with water, they float on the water. Why? Because their density is less than that of water. For example, oil. Try once mixing, take a glass of water and try mixing some oil with the water. Even if you mix vigorously, after some time you will notice that the oil comes on the surface of water. Whereas sinking objects are those objects which have more density than the water and they sink when mixed with water. For example, stones. However hard you try to maintain the stone on the surface of the water, it will go down, it will sink down. Here is a picture of floating and sinking objects. The first picture is of oil and water, in which you can see that the oil is on the surface of the water, that is, it is floating. Whereas in the second picture, here is a glass of water and the stone has been sunk down in the glass of water. The next property of material is transparency. There are three other the next property of material is transparency. There are three divisions of transparency given here. The first one is transparent, in which substances, if you hold them, you can see through them. The substances or materials through which you can see other things. So they can be classified as transparent. For example, glass or water. The next one is translucent. The substances or materials through which object can be seen but not clearly. You can see there is some object present on the other side of the material, but you cannot see clearly what material is it or what object it is. So that object can be classified as translucent. For example, oil patch on paper, or you can say butter paper also. The third division is opaque. Substances or materials through which we are not able to see at all. If we put an opaque object in front of our face, we cannot see what is present on the other side of the object. So those objects or materials are classified as opaque. For example, wood or metals. Here is the picture for three divisions. The first one is transparent. You can see that we can see through the glass that there is a teapot inside. The second one is translucent, in which you can see that there is a folder material present, but you cannot see through it. You can see there is something present on the other side. It is present that you cannot see through it. So this object can be classified as translucent. whereas this is a wooden door which can be classified as opaque. Why it is opaque? So that nothing can be seen through the doors. We all have metal or wooden doors at our home also. Why so? Because the people outside cannot see what is happening in our house. So these can be classified as opaque so that we cannot see through them. We are unable to see what is happening on the other side of the object. So that's it for this chapter. Thank you everyone.